Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to my solo Kalphite Queen guide. Alright, so before I actually get into the setup and how to kill it and everything, I first just want to say that you really should not be killing the Kalphite Queen unless you have like a good reason to do it. And by that I mean either you're trying to get the Kalphite Queen head, which you need to do the Desert Elite Diary, so that's a very valid reason, which is why I'm doing it, or you like want to get the pet or something like that basically, or you're just doing it for fun. That's a valid reason as well. But what I mean is that you're not really going to make any money doing this, pretty much any way you do it. I mean, you'll be lucky to break even and you might make a little bit of money, but it's definitely not going to be worth your time. Anyways, now that we've gotten that out of the way, you want to make sure that you have a Slayer task of Kalphites before you go and do this as well, because that way, of course, you can use the 15% Slayer Helm bonus. And you want to make sure your Slayer Helm is imbued, so that way, when you range the second form, you are getting the bonus on the range as well. So for the stats you're going to need, I highly recommend that you have 90 plus attack, strength, and defense. You pretty much need that in order to do this effectively. If you have less than that, you might not even get one kill per trip sometimes, and that's just a really inefficient way to kill it. And also, I recommend that you have like 80 or 85 plus range, something like that, so that way you can range the second form. However, if you don't have that, you can still kill it, but you'll just have to use barracks on the second form instead, which isn't as fast but still effective. Alright, so for the gear that you're going to want to use, of course you have the Slayer Helm, and the Fury is the best amulet. If you don't have that, you can just use a Glory. You don't have to have bandos, obviously. You can just wear basically what you're going for is range defense, so the best range defense armor besides bandos I believe is like Torags or something, so probably just bring that, or if you're going to be killing it with Varix anyways, then just wear that. But yeah, bandos is the best, definitely best range defense, and also it gives the strength and prayer bonus as well, which is really nice. Bando's boots are better than Dragon boots here because you are basically trading one strength bonus for prayer bonus and more range defense, which again is what we're trying to maximize here. However, if you do have primordial boots, those are probably better, but obviously they're very expensive. So Bando's boots will work just fine. For the ring, either a Berserker or an Archer ring imbued. And if you don't have either one of those, if you can't afford them, then just bring a Ring of Dueling, and that'll save you one inventory slot. There's no point in bringing a Ring of Life, since the death mechanics, you just keep everything anyways. Obviously the best gloves are Barrows, and the best weapon is a God Sword. I have seen a lot of people using like Samurai Costas and Abyssal Bludgeons and shit like that. But the God Sword is actually the best, because the Bludgeon, yeah, it's more DPS usually because it's faster, but the way that we kill it, speed doesn't matter at all, so we just want to maximize crush and melee strength. So the God Sword is actually the best for that. And obviously the only difference between the God Swords is the spec, and so the Ceradorma God Sword is the best in terms of that, but if you don't have that, a Bando's God Sword will work just fine. And you could also bring a Fire Cape, but I don't really think it's worth the inventory slot. However, I do bring a ring switch, so because it's +8 accuracy and strength, and I feel like that's worth it. So but yeah, you can bring as many switches as you want, but obviously that's going to be less sharks. Alright, so for the second form, you're going to range it, Now you could bring Armadillo. It's a lot more expensive and barely better at all, but obviously if you can afford it, then go ahead. If you have Pegation boots, then bring those. And the best weapon to kill it with is the blowpipe. I've tested around with like a crossbow and a crystal shield instead, and it's not better. It might be better if you had like an Elysian, maybe, but even then you'd be killing it slower, but you'd maybe because you'd be taking less damage, you might be able to kill more per trip. But odds are the blowpipe's probably the best, because at the speed that it attacks, you can attack the Kalphite Queen twice for each time it attacks you once, which is really good. Whereas with crossbow and accurate, you'd just be going 1 for 1. And yeah, so this is a lot better. I recommend that you use adamant darts because it's just a good balance between, you know, money and damage. And you're going to be killing it. You're going to want to be killing it pretty quick, because obviously it's going to be doing a lot of damage to you, and that's food, which is expensive, and you want to try to get 2 kills per trip if ever possible. Alright, so for how you're actually going to get there, there's a couple different ways to do it. One is to start at the Shantae Pass. The best way to get there is either use a Glory to go to Alcaret and then run from there, or start at the Duel Arena with a dueling ring, obviously, and then run from there. And then, you know, go through the Shantae Pass and just run there. If you do go with that route, make sure that you drop some sharks outside and go through the Shantae Pass twice, so that you're making sure you don't, you know, waste a shark by having the Shantae Pass in your inventory, if you know what I mean. However, how I get there, which is faster, is to use a Slayer ring to the Relica Slayer Cave, and then go to the Fairy Ring, and then take the Fairy Ring to this one, the IQ, and then just run there. That is definitely faster. However, if you don't have the Lumbridge Elite Diary done, you are going to have the Draymond or Lunar Staff in your inventory in order to use the Fairy Ring, so it's probably still worth it to save the time. But if you do find yourself, like, you know, really close to getting 2 kills in a trip sometimes, and you feel like the one shark could make the difference, then, you know, maybe it is worth it for you to go the long way. But if you've got the Lumbridge Elite Diary done, then this way is definitely, you know, just strictly better, really. So that's what I personally do. Also, you could choose to bank one of these rings, and then, like, for example, if I bank the dueling ring, at the end of every trip, I just have to teleport to the Stronghold Slayer Cave, and then bank, and then grab the dueling ring, go to Clan Wars. And that would, you know, take a little bit more time, but give me 1 more inventory slot. Again, I don't feel like the 1 inventory slot really makes a difference for me personally, but if you want, that's something you can do. But yeah, this is just how I do it, because I try to do it as fast as possible. Either way, you're going to need 2 ropes, so you're going to want to have a lot of ropes in your bank, so that, because you're going to need 2 every trip, obviously. And for my inventory, I just bring a prayer potion and a ranging potion, and before I go, I take a drink of the super set, the super anti, and the stamina, and I drink all of these, and then I teleport to the Slayer Cave and run to the Fairy Ring, and, you know, go from there. Anyway, so however you manage to get here, once you're here, use the rope on the tunnel thing to get in, and then you can just click there, so that way you don't have to, you know, keep clicking a million times. If you do have the Desert Elite Diary done, then you could use the shortcut, I guess, but you have to have the Kalphite Queen head in order to do the Desert Elite Diary, so odds are, if you've already got it done, then you're probably never going to kill the Kalphite Queen again, so it's pretty much a pointless agility shortcut, really. They really should make that like a desert hard requirement instead, so that way it'd at least be helpful for people that are trying to get the head. But anyways, I digress. So once you run all the way around, use the rope on this one and check to see if anybody's actually down there, which there isn't. If there is, then hop right there, so that, because otherwise if you use your rope and then switch worlds, then the rope won't be there anymore and you'll be fucked. So you're going to want to pray magic and piety on the first form. And basically the strategy here is to get wrecked, apparently, is to run underneath it every time. And I actually need to set up my quick prayers. But you're going to step underneath it every time, because this way you're hitting each other 1-to-1. Meaning, you know, each time it attacks you, you attack it once. And that way it's really benefits you because your weapon is obviously a lot slower than its attacks. So again, this is why I said weapon speed doesn't actually matter, which is why the bludgeon isn't better here than the God Sword. And obviously at some point throughout this form, use your SGS specs if you have them. If not, it might just be better to save the specs for the blowpipe in the second form. But it's nice when it gets pinned up against the wall like this, because that way you don't have to click as much in order to walk underneath it, because it's annoying when you have to right click it. So if ever possible, try to get it up against the wall like that. Anyways, for the second form, you drink your ranging potion, and you also pray mage for this form. I don't think it actually matters though on this form. Like, you could pray range as well, and I'm pretty sure you take just as much damage either way. However, I noticed that the magic attack tends to be a bit faster than the range attack, so I just pray magic instead to give myself that extra little bit of time to eat. You want to make sure your health does not drop below 31. Well, it doesn't drop any lower than 32 basically, because 31 is its max hit. Also, I'm not sure if this actually makes any difference stepping underneath it like this. It probably doesn't, but I do it anyways because it might actually help. And I try not to safe up at the end here, because we are going to be going to castle or to clan wars anyways afterwards. But let's just get above 31. I'm trying to kill this before we run out of prayer. And there we go. So also, if you had the Desert Elite Diary done again, you could, instead of going here, you could go to the Desert Amulet teleport place and pray at the altar there, because it's the same effect, but obviously it's faster. So, but once again, if you have that done, then odds are you're not going to be killing the Kalphite Queen anyways. So yeah, basically you do that, you rinse and repeat. I could have maybe got another kill there, but I was just kind of trying to show you guys how to do it, really. So yeah, basically you're just going to do that and rinse and repeat until you got whatever you're trying to get, basically. So anyways, hopefully that helped you guys out. And other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later.